Hey Rosebuds, welcome to the Rose Garden, where we will be discussing important social issues and trending topics. I'm your host, Nyeri Rose. Welcome in, Rosebuds. It's your host, Nyeri Rose, and today's episode is overdue, so let's just get right into it. I want to have a conversation about perception. And for those of you who do not know what perception is, to give you a definition, perception is the awareness, comprehension, or understanding of something, a conscious understanding of opinions or beliefs. So for me, I have been kind of going through a tough time these past couple weeks, just dealing with like my own things. For those of you who are in school, we just had finals. Some people are graduating. Shout out to those who just finished school and graduated. Congratulations. And to those who are just working on the grind, on their daily hustle, I'm with you. I feel you. Life can be stressful. But for me, what makes things even more stressful or distracting is just the overall perception that I have based on social media. Now, for some of you, you might not have a social media. Bless you. Don't even worry about it. Like, there is nothing that you're missing out on, except for if you are a content creator or a creative or business owner. Then I understand why you're on social media or why you need social media. But if you're someone who's just now starting and figuring things out, especially for me, since I'm on this spiritual journey or this journey of healing, getting on social media has become the biggest distraction and just this metaverse or reality that just does not make sense to me whatsoever. For me, the more that I get on social media, the more that I feel like it's a dangerous place. Like, it's a dangerous place to be. And I've been itching to talk about this for so long, but I feel like there has been so many things going on, especially on social media, to where it kind of felt like every time I tried to talk about this conversation or have this conversation, it was put on pause. Like, let's recap. Kevin Samuels died. Won't get into that right now. Let's see what else. Doctor came out and said that Megan stepped on glass. And some of y'all are still pretending to be confused. Like, it's just, and then on top of that, Kendrick Lamar dropped his highly anticipated album. And I just feel like all these things, I don't know. I don't know if it's positive or negative, but if you believe in World War III, then you know that it's a spiritual warfare going on right now. And I feel like spirituality is becoming a gimmick. I will repeat. Spirituality is becoming a gimmick. People are monetizing off of spirituality and the perception of spirituality being this like way of the woke and the chosen one, and just if you're spiritual, then you're all knowing and you're it. Like, being spiritual right now is it. It's the fad, it's the thing. And I feel like, especially through social media, for those of us who are actually doing the work of healing and trying to grow, it kind of makes the process so much harder, if you get what I'm trying to say. Like, going on social media and seeing like the quotes and the positive affirmations, and you see all these other people in their purpose. I spent like a few days just wanting to like delete my stuff. Like I just wanted to get off of it. I just wanted to like disappear. And I'm really good at that. Like a coping mechanism for me, especially when I feel like I'm falling into a depressive state. And I realized that for me, depression is almost like high functioning, because no one will know. Like I will not actively sit there and be like, woe is me, I'm going through all these things, I need help. I will keep smiling, keep pushing, keep persevering, and you will never know that I just feel like crawling under a blanket and just hiding. Like things can get really overwhelming, and when I feel like I've had enough or I can't take it anymore, then I will disappear. Part of my healing is not doing that. Part of my journey is standing in my truth, standing in the midst of my flaws, and realizing that it's perfectly fine to feel how I feel. It's perfectly normal to feel sad, to be angry, to be stressed, to feel overwhelmed. All those things are okay, and I do not have to disappear. I sometimes have to just stand in my uncomfortability and just let things happen naturally and let the Most High guide my steps. And so I say all that to say, with all these things going on, I just want y'all to know that you're not alone, especially with it being like Mental Health Awareness Month, which it shouldn't even be a month. Like this is a year-round thing. Resources are available whenever you need them. I just want to be really clear. Like it's hard right now. And so with all these distractions and things going on, it's easy to be fooled by faulty perceptions, fake perceptions, realities that are not real. Because I realized it is culture to still in 2022 act like everything is okay and emphasize or highlight only the rewards, only the blessings. You're not going to see many people talking about how their bills are past due, their accounts are negative or overdrawn. You're not going to see people talking about how they're struggling to make ends meet. You're not going to find that. Everyone's trying to get the bag, which I understand, which is fine. But also, we need to normalize that it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to not have it all together, and it's okay to not have everything figured out. And I hate it. And I know hate is a strong word, so I shouldn't be saying hate, but I really dislike the fact that sometimes I just feel like, is this the future where the only way we can communicate or connect with others is from a status standpoint, or like this social hierarchy, to where if a person is low and they don't seem very relevant, I'm not really gonna engage. I'm not gonna interact. There is an algorithm to Instagram. I know this for sure, and I know that a lot of Black content creators have been talking about how Instagram is hindering the interaction and engagement towards Black businesses and Black content creators, and making it harder for them to interact with other people and engage and network because the algorithm is not in our favor. Sometimes I wonder, okay, that could be partially true, right? But then again, I realize you could have 300 people, 400 people, and this is for like individuals who are, not at 100K followers or 200K followers, but you could have so many people look at your story and they will not engage. They won't say a word. You could post something and have a bunch of people look at your posts and they won't say anything unless you're relevant, unless other people are validating your relevancy, or, and this is kind of extreme, but I feel like for women, unless you're showing your body or just, putting yourself out there in a way that's not to the benefit of your mental health. Now, I know we are living in like progressive times where we say no to body shaming and we are saying yes to being, beautiful and sexy and feminine, and that's wonderful. But for those of us who are still not comfortable with showing our bodies on social media platforms and engaging in that way, it does take away from your success or what you're trying to do. Everyone is put into these categories, and that's my point. It's kind of just like, if you're not a Barbie or a doll, then who are you? And if you're not that, then you're spiritual. But then if you're spiritual, you're either doing tarot readings, or you just have like psychic ability, or you're just in nature. And right now, I feel like more than ever, it's like you have to be in a lane. You can't be more than one thing. And I realized for myself, I have shied away from showing my true talents because of fear of judgment. I'm scared still to this day as a grown woman. I'm scared of what other people will think about the content that I'm putting out. And that's not okay, because we live in a progressive society where it's kind of like, who gives a F? Like, do what you want to do, right? But I see others struggling to be their authentic selves due to being judged by so many. I mean, look at trolls, for example, and trolling. Celebrities get trolled the most, and I would be a fool to not think that affects them. Some celebrities have openly talked about how it has negatively affected them, and a million people could say positive things, but those one or two people who have something negative to say, they resonate with that. And so coming into a awareness of just who I am and who I'm trying to become as a mother, as a wife, as a woman, and just as an individual, I don't ever want to treat spirituality as a gimmick. I want to continue to heal and figure out who I am, because I know that social media is like a tool, it's a resource, and I want to be able to use it appropriately and to network with others and build community. But I'm not even gonna hold you. Sometimes it just feels really unsafe. And the first thing that came to mind for me when I was thinking about like perception and just like how people view one another and how we interact with each other, I don't know if you've ever watched this show, but it's called Black Mirror and it's on Netflix. And I freaking love that show. Like, I love Black Mirror. Like, if you have not seen it, go check it out, because I know that they're on to something. Like, I know that they're on to something as far as society and where we are now and where we might be in the future. I learned, like, sometimes they put the truth in the fake, which we see as television or movies or music. Sometimes they put the truth in those things. And then reality, the actual world we live in, that's what feels fake to me. So going back to Black Mirror, I have 2 favorite episodes. My first favorite episode is definitely not on topic to this podcast, but I forgot what it's called. But homeboy, he finds out that his wife is cheating on him, and he could like zoom into her memory bank through their eyes. And that was just, it was crazy. It was wild. Shout out to whoever directed that or wrote that episode, because that was fire. But as it relates to conversations about perception, the episode of Black Mirror that comes to mind is called Nosedive. And for those of you who don't know what Nosedive is about, it's about a girl and her name is Lacey. And so Lacey gets invited to her BFF Naomi's wedding. But at this time, or in the world that they live in, every single thing is based off of a rating. So think about like Yelp, how you go to a restaurant, if you have a good experience, boom, you get 5 stars. Or Uber or Lyft, you have a good experience, you get 5 stars. You don't have a good experience, then you get rated down. So everyone starts, or everyone has like a rating, and everyone rates each other. So if you go to the coffee shop, if you like the coffee shop, then you can uprate it and give it 5 stars. But also, the coffee shop can rate you and their experience with you. So as Lacey goes on about her life, and she's going through her day-to-day, and she's trying to accommodate her BFF, Naomi, who's like high-ranking, top-notch, money, like all these things. She's up there. She's on top of the social hierarchy. So Lacey is doing everything in her power to make sure that she keeps her rating high so that she can go on and be a maid of honor or whatever it is at the wedding. But as Lacey finds challenges throughout her day, her rating starts to drop. It goes low. And so I think where it takes a turn is she goes to the airport, she misses her flight, and she starts getting into an argument with like the receptionist. And so the receptionist, lowers her ranking score. And then it just goes left from there. And I feel like we do that with each other now. It goes from a follow to an unfollow, from blocking people to commenting negative things, to seeing how many followers such and such has. I feel like we already do that. We are already mirroring the Nosedive episode on a day-to-day basis, just based on how we perceive someone. And that's why you have to be so careful with how you market yourself on social media, because any little thing can like set a person off or create a perception based on what they see on your page. And if you don't actually fit those requirements, or you don't actually present yourself the way that you're presenting yourself on your page, then who are you? And I feel like social media has made it so easy for us to hide behind facades that aren't really true to who we are. And it creates a disconnect in our interpersonal relationships, honestly. And I know this, being that I teach students every day, and I see them. They come in, they're on their phones. It's so hard for them to get off their phones. Everything has to do with what's on your phone. Your information comes from your phone. Everything. We do not have to talk to each other, honestly. And when I do hear people talk to each other or have conversations, 9 times out of 10, it stems around gossip. It stems around something traumatic or dramatic. And it's scary to even talk about your blessings or successes, because you never know how the other person might feel about you based on their livelihood. And I'm just being 100% honest. You could say, well, no, that's not true. I have a good support group, and I could tell them, all my wins and things like that. And that's great, but that's not the reality of all. You could literally be telling your best friend something going good in your life, and on the surface, your best friend might seem happy for you. They might be like, oh, okay, good job, or I'm so proud of you. But subconsciously, that person may be the evil eye. That person may be like, oh my gosh, why is he or why is she always getting opportunities and I'm not? Why is this person always getting a brand new this or that, and I'm over here struggling? We are not honest with each other as much anymore because of these facades and these dynamics that have been put on us to further disconnect us from human to human interaction. And it's scary because we all want to be authentic, and we all want to get to our higher selves and elevate. But it's almost this narrative that in order to elevate, you really have to do it entirely on your own. And then if you're elevating and you're doing it on your own, when you actually climb to the top, or you get to the top, and you look around and no one's there, then what? What was it all for? What was the whole journey for? And that's why I try to stay really close to my family and things like that. But I now understand the phrase where they say it's lonely at the top, because it really is. Connecting with others is scary. Being vulnerable, telling your truths to someone, especially people that you don't know or you're just getting to know and figure out, it's really scary. And I feel like in order to get back to a place of normalcy, I feel like, and this isn't probably never going to happen, but we need to cancel social media. And I know that's unrealistic for me to say, so I don't even know why I'm saying that. But something's got to give. Something has to give. Because I'm not going to keep building my existence in fear of how others perceive me, when those people don't even know me or don't even take the time to get to know me. And some people may know exactly who I am or exactly who you are, but they choose to abuse you. They choose to take your kindness for weakness. And you have to forgive individuals like that because it has nothing to do with you. Let me tell you, when you come across someone who you may veer as an enemy or a frenemy or just a hater, you have to be so careful and still show love and compassion, even if it's from a distance, because 9 times out of 10, that person is in need of help and healing too. And that is something that I'm also learning on this spiritual journey, is that people are hurt. And people are more hurt by the fact that when they try to express their hurt or they try to share their pain, they have no one to go to. Because at the end of the day, people only like to talk about themselves. And that's why I think podcasts are blowing up right now. And, YouTubers are blowing up right now because we finally have these outlets where we can tell our story, but we have to do it through a screen. Like sometimes when I watch TikTok or when I look at like Reels, it's kind of like weird because it's literally your stage. Like you're watching people perform, even if it's a cute little dance or even if they're reciting like a sound. That's their stage. That's their platform. That's their opportunity to be heard. But that does not mean or equate to happiness at the end of the day. It's all a perception. Unless you're next to that person every single day, you do not know what the next person is going through. And trust me, everybody is going through something. I don't care if you're a millionaire, a billionaire, everybody goes through something. We all go through different things. So it's mind-blowing that we're still in this state, or we're still in this predicament of just being disconnected from one another. There's a lot of unloyalty. There's a lot of lack of making good decisions or good judgment. Then you have like the fake woke. You have the people who are still misleading the youth. And just, you have, like they like to say, clout chasers. People who are actually lost. And so in order to feel relevant or in order to feel accepted, they have to like latch on to others and what other people are doing to validate their existence. And I get it. As someone who was a people pleaser, always trying to please others to make people happy or like me or be likable and accepted, that is the most damaging thing that you can do, is ride on the coattails of somebody else. Because at the end of the day, who are you? Who are you? What do you stand for? What is your legacy? If you're so busy chasing after other people and what other people are doing, then what is your purpose in life? What are your messages? What is it that you're leaving behind? Because you can't leave a legacy following someone else's blueprint. I'll tell you that right now. You can't copy someone else's recipe. I don't care if imitation is the biggest form of flattery. You cannot copy someone else's blueprint or their life or their structure and think that that is going to help you move forward or get closer to where you're supposed to be. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. And so I say all this to say that if you are feeling down and out, if you're sad and depressed, maybe especially if you're someone who consumes social media, maybe you should, deactivate your account and just stay away from it for a little bit. And just take a couple days or just take a moment to just be in nature, to look at the sun, look at the moon, look at the stars, ask the universe, what is your purpose in life? If you're down and out and things aren't going right, what is it that you need to be doing in order to be in a better place? Or to be in a position to where you're not feeling sad or you don't know your next steps, so that you're not feeling broken inside and out. Because it's so easy to get lost in the sauce, especially when you're looking at and consuming the realities of other individuals, especially other individuals that you do not know. And I see some of these videos and they are perfect. Like everything, the aesthetic is so perfect, to where you start to feel like, or at least speaking for myself, I start to feel like, well, how do they do that? What is the formula? Because I'm not there yet. Like, it's so easy to look at what someone else has or look at where someone else is and feel jealous or insecure because you're not in that position. And that's just trying to keep it all the way 100 and real and authentic. At least I know for me, sometimes seeing someone else walking in their blessing, it can be detrimental and hurtful to me, trying to get to where I need to be, looking at what someone else has. That's another reason why I also try, I disappear and I try not to be judgmental, because sometimes I just read something that said that social media can be an addiction. If you find yourself waking up and the first thing you're doing is grabbing your phone and you're clicking on social media apps, like, that can be addicting. And so I try not to get consumed in my phone. I try to put my phone up sometimes and just say, okay, no social media for today. Focus on your family, focus on your kids, focus on what you're going to cook for dinner. And some people are really good at that. Some people don't need social media at all. But I understand the need to have one, especially if you, like I said, you're a business owner or a content creator, or even if you're none of those things and you just like to interact with others and see what other people are doing in the world. Social media can be a great networking opportunity. But I can also see where some of us get a little bit insecure and jaded about the things that we see and the things that we consume on a regular basis. And so with that being said, I just want to let everyone know who's listening, do not give up on yourself. Don't give up on your journey. Spirituality is not a gimmick. It's a way of healing. And in order to heal, you must be willing to go without the things that make you suffer and that hurt you. If you're not willing to give up the things that hurt you, then how are you going to grow? A wise man once told me to detach from attachments. And if you feel like you're attached to anything, then you probably need to let that person or let that thing go. It may be temporary. It may be for a long time. But there's a lot of willpower in being able to say, you know what? This or you are not good for me right now. I need to take a step back. Because I will say self-care is the best care. Always. And self-care doesn't have to be going out and spending money on yourself, splurging. It can be getting a massage or getting a pedicure or manicure. But self-care can also be free. There are so many things that you can do that's considered self-care that is for the free 99, to where once you do those things, like even taking a walk outside, it is so healing. It is so therapeutic. And so I try my best to make a conscious awareness decision to not get consumed by what other people think of me. Never make assumptions. Assumptions are the worst because you don't know what other people are thinking of you. So don't assume that you know everything. Just be content with right now. You don't have to get so involved in the past or the future. Sometimes there's peace in the present. And once you are aware of the fact that you're just alive and breathing, that could be the most powerful thing that can help you reach a sense of peace and purpose in your reality. Because it's not about likes, it's not about subscribers, it's just about being your authentic, true self. And realizing that there are support systems available to you. And they don't have to be physical. There is power in prayer. I'm not saying that you have to pick a specific religion or be a part of any religion to pray. But there is power in talking to a higher being, or even talking to your higher self and trying to get clarity and in trying to get the answers that you need in order to be a successful person. And so, with that being said, I'm going to just leave that there and just take it how you want to take it. But really and truly, I had to talk about it because we get so caught up in what other people have and what other people are doing that we lose sight of self. And we are the most important people, especially those, like if you're a mom. I say this all the time, like, how can you take care of other people when you can't even take care of yourself? And you don't have to be a mom. I'm just saying in general, you cannot go around taking care of everybody else if you're not taking care of you first. And looking at what other people have and what other people are doing, or who's liking what, or who you're interacting with, that can be so draining to your soul. It doesn't matter. Nobody matters but you. Once you focus on you, your blessings will come. The people who are meant for you will come. Everything will fall into its perfect alignment once you start paying more attention to who you are and who you want to be. And sometimes that journey may feel lonely. It may be isolating, but it's temporary. Put the work in. I promise it pays off. And I'm not just saying that to those listening. I'm also talking to myself, because it is so easy for me to feel sad, alone, frustrated. But I also have to see the beauty in my solitude. I have to see the beauty in being alone sometimes. I cannot be afraid anymore, because who knows, once we're gone, who knows what's to become. So while we're here, let's do everything we can to showcase our talents and tell the world who we are and tell our stories so that we can help others and help others heal. You know, some people might resonate with what you're going through and what you're saying. Some people may not. But if you're going to be on social media, make sure that you're using it in a positive way. Because a lot of people, they get a lot of likes and they get a lot of attention, but is it the right attention? Is it what the Creator has determined is necessary for your individual life and your purpose? Figure out what that is. And always remember that when life throws you thorns, search for roses. Peace.